All right, today I'm going to go over the Idlestopper installation for the 20 and up Honda CR-V. This is the V2 module. It's fully plug and play. So let's get started with installing it. First thing we're going to do is remove this whole cup holder assembly. And by doing that, we can access the power outlet. So you're going to want to use a pry tool and go underneath the side, or just grab it with your hands and pull straight up from the back. It will detach pretty easily. It's all clipped in. You can also pry from the inside if you can see where it splits, and then just lift up on that whole panel, and that panel should slide right out. You will have to unplug the wireless charger if you have that on your model. If you don't have the wireless charger, you can obviously skip that step. So now that opens us access to the back side of this power outlet right here, which we're going to use the connector from. And then next we're going to remove this shifter trim panel, and you can simply pull up on the bottom part of it and just lift it straight up. You can use this hole right here as leverage for your thumb, and then you're gonna just wiggle this trim panel up a little bit. And all we're gonna do is get to the bottom of the idle stop off switch and unplug the connector. All right, we'll unplug the connector and let it hang out there, and then unplug this power outlet connector as well. It's a 2-wire black connector down here in the bottom. It has a little release tab on it. All you're going to do is push the tab in while you wiggle it back and forth. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating if you don't push the tab in just right. It's not a matter of how hard you push the tab in, but you just have to push and hold it in. Okay, so now we have that connection loose and the connection up with the idle stop switch ready. We're ready to hook up our module. So now we take the module out of the bag, and we have 2 white connectors here, and we have 2 black connectors on the other end. We're going to take the white connection and plug the one end into the wiring that we had stuck up here, and then this end will plug into the idle stop off switch, the back of it. Obviously you'll be able to see it easier from underneath. The camera is overhead, but all you have to do is kind of get under here and find the location of the switch. Once you find the location of the switch, you plug right back in. Now this module, you can take this foam right here and you can peel it off and stick it on the back of the module, and the module will sit right in this open hole under here. You can zip tie it, you can let it hang, the foam is mostly so if it does rattle against anything, it won't make any noise. Underneath this trim panel here, where you're on this model, there's USB ports. It's just a small little panel underneath the shifter. That panel just pops straight off as well. You can run the wire down and behind the panel without removing it, or you can just pop it straight off and run the wire that way. It's also clipped in. It's just this little lower panel here. It's just got a few clips on it holding it in. And then after removing this, it'll give you wide open access to run this wire right behind everything. All right, so now that we've got our wire run behind, we can put this trim panel back in here. And this is just clips. So we got that clip back in. We have our module in up there, so we can push that back down and clipped on. And now we have our power outlet connection. We'll take the wire from the vehicle and plug it into the connector there. And then what we're going to do with that connection, there's going to be a small gap there, and you're going to take the foam tape here and you're going to wrap it around this connection, which will give it a little more support, plus it'll protect the connection. And then the other end of this, you're just going to plug back into your power outlet socket. It's a T shape, it can only go on one way. So once you get that plug back in, that's pretty much it for installation. We will need to put our wireless charger back on, if we have it. All right, and then we will let the panel rest in here and just push straight down. It's just clips. We can close our console and put our tray back. All right, now we can start the vehicle up. And now we should wait about 5 to 7 seconds and see a idle stop disable light come up. It should be to the left of the speed. There it goes right there next to the RPM. So you can still retain the function. So if you want to, you can use it and turn it back on all you want via the button. It's just every time, even if you leave it in the on position, every time you shut the car off and start it back up, it will always go back to the off position. So that's it. It's basically reverses the opposite of the way it is from the factory. But that's all I have. So thank you very much for watching this video.